Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. As you can see, I have the Birkin right next to me. Today's video is about Hermes, specifically about Birkin 30. I am going to do a review of this bag and I will also show you what fits in the bag. So without further ado, let's get started. A little history about the Birkin. This bag was first introduced in 1984 and it was designed for the actress Jane Birkin, and then they named the bag after her. Back in the day, a standard bag like this one cost roughly about $2,000, which is a lot back in the 80s. But nowadays, a standard Birkin costs about $10,000 to $13,000. And this is in the US. So just a little bit of a history, but we're not going to go too much into the history of the entire Hermes and Birkin because we're going to be here all day. So as usual, let me go ahead and show you the bag. This is the Hermes Birkin 30. 30 means it's 30 centimeter from here to here. There are, I think, 3 or 4 other sizes. The smallest ones is the Birkin 25. So it would be 25 centimeter going across. And then this one is a 30, and there's a 35 and the 40. So this one is in black Epsom leather with gold hardware, and the gold is very shiny. And it has the 2 handle strap here, which I did put twillies on them to protect the handle. And at the bottom, it has the 4 round stud feet here. And the inside, it has the flap to close the bag. The flap would go over the back like so. And then you would put the single through and lock the bag. Inside, I do have an organizer, which I'm going to take it out real quick. And it comes with 2 internal pockets. The one back here has a zipper, and the one right here doesn't have a zipper. It also comes with a rain jacket, but I don't use the rain jacket at all. If I know it's going to be raining, I just don't take this bag with me. I don't like to use a rain jacket, so I just kind of keep it away in the box. So I don't have it here to show you. It comes with this little crochet, and the crochet is also in the same leather, Epsom leather, with a gold lock. And you can put it on the back. Just put it on like so. However, if I already have a charm on the back, I don't use the crochet. But yeah, that is the bag. So how I'm gonna do the review is that I will break it down into different categories and I will rate them individually per each category. So stay to the end because I will give you my verdict on whether or not this bag is worth it. So the first category is style and look. Obviously, this bag is undeniably the most iconic handbag. As far as the look, the bag is relatively simple inside out. It has that very minimalist finish. It's very classic, elegant, timeless, and very iconic. So I give it a 5 out of 5 for the look. Category number 2, we're going to talk about functionality. This bag is very highly usable. It's very versatile. This bag can be worn day or night. It can be dressed up, dressed down. You can carry this bag to work. You can travel with this bag. You can wear it every day. You can go out with it. It's just very highly usable and very functional. The bag is very spacious on the inside. So functionality, I have to give this bag 5 out of 5 as well. The next criteria we're going to talk about is the ease of use. This bag is easy to use. You can carry it as a handheld or on the crook of your arm. However, with this bag, you can't really be hands-free because there's no shoulder strap. If you really want to be hands-free when you're out and about, then this is not the bag to carry with you that day. And also, it can be very heavy if you fill it up. I typically don't fill up my bag to its maximum capacity, but if you really need to fit in a lot of stuff when you're out and about, it can get heavy. But that's with any bag, right? It is made with this flap to close the bag. So you would lock it in like so, which I never bothered to because that's just too much of a hassle. But that's how, if you really want to lock the bag, I simply put the flap behind the bag. So I carry my bag like so because it makes it easier for me to get in and out of the bag. So ease of use, again, this bag can only be hand carry or on the crook of your arm. You can't be hands-free with this bag. You can't carry it on the shoulder, can't crossbody it. So for ease of use, I have to give this bag 4 out of 5. So next up, we're going to talk about durability. So I've owned this bag for a little over a year. So I don't use it every day, but I use it enough to know that The bag is very durable. The bag is in perfect condition. There are no scratches, no wear and tear whatsoever. It's still in perfect structure. The bag holds the shape really well. I do have an organizer for this bag. I mentioned this over and over again, but an organizer, especially for a bag that costs this much, you really want to protect the bag as much as you can inside and out. So an organizer is required for this bag just to hold the shape of the bag and also to protect the inside, because the thing with Hermès is that if anything were to happen to your bag, you can always send it into Hermès Spa and they will service your bag for you. They can replace the leather, they can fix it for you. But if anything were to happen to the inside of the bag, they cannot fix the inside of the bag for you. They can only fix the external. So let's say the single, the hardware, the leather, the feet, anything like that, they can fix it. They can replace it for you at a cost, of course. But anything happen to the inside, they will not fix it. So just keep that in mind and buy yourself an organizer. So yeah, so inside is in perfect condition. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. With the durability, this bag is very durable. However, just keep in mind that it all depends on the leather of the bag. So this one specifically is an Epsom leather, but Hermès has a wide variety of leather. So it depends on the kind of leather that you choose. So let's say this one specifically is an Epsom leather. So it is very durable. It is scratch resistant. It holds the shape really well. But there's also other leather, let's say Togo. Togo is also very durable and it holds the shape well as well. But let's say if you get Clemence leather is very similar to Togo leather. It's just a little bit bigger grain than the Togo. Clemence leather is also very scratch resistant. However, Clemence leather is heavier and it tends to slouch over time. And then there's also box calf leather, which is more like a smoother, shinier leather, which holds the structure well, but then it scratches easily. So that's just to name a few of Hermès leather, but there are so many different kind of leathers. There are exotic leathers such as crocodile, alligator, ostrich, lizard, and then there are other non-exotic leather like chef, evergreen, Cadillac, Swift leather. I mean, we can go on for days talking about Hermès leather. Generally speaking, Hermès handbags are made to last. So as far as durability, I have to give it 5 out of 5. Now that brings us to quality. So how's the quality of Hermès handbag? All of Hermès leather comes from France. They use leather that are produced only in France. I think they have about like 17 leather factory all over France, and that's all they use. They don't use leather from any other countries. All of the Hermès handbag is handmade by one person from start to finish. And all of the bags are hand stitched. Did you know that the simplest looking handbag is the hardest one to master? And that bag is the Kelly. If an artisan can master the making of the Kelly, that means he or she can virtually master any of the handbags of Hermès. Each of their bag takes about 15 to 24 hours to make by one person. The harder the bag, like the more complex handbag like the Kelly, it takes over 20 hours to make versus a simpler handbag like let's say the Picotin probably doesn't take as long, but they range about 15 to 24 hours for one person to finish one handbag. So let's say within a week, one person can probably make 2 to 3 handbags. So now I'm going to show you the weight of this bag. I have this travel scale here that I use that's very convenient. Now we have the scale right at 0. I hook it onto the bag and let's see how much it weighs. Okay, it's 1.8 pounds. So that's not heavy at all. Now I put the organizer inside the bag. Okay, so the bag with an empty organizer, and let's see how much it weighs. Okay, with the organizer, the bag is now weight 1.9 pounds. So give and take, with the organizer, it's still less than 2 pounds, 1.9. So the bag is very light. I would compare this to the weight of like I would say my Chanel 19 in the medium size, or so the smallest size. That one weight about 1.8 pounds. And the Chanel Classic Flap in the medium, that one weighs over 2 pounds. the Chanel Trendy CC in the small size. That one weighed also over 2 pounds. So this one is very light. Now I'm going to show you what fit in this bag. This is the organizer that I got for this bag. It has a lot of compartments in here, which I really like. It's not the softest material, to be honest, but I think it's still good enough for my bag because this bag is in the Epsom, so it's already hold the structure really well. I will show you what fits in this organizer first, and then I will put the organizer inside the bag. So typically this is not something that I would carry every day, but I will show you what can actually fit. I typically use a card holder. I don't use a wallet, but let's say if you do use a wallet, it definitely fits in here. Here's a sunglasses case. And my compact, my hand lotion. I even have a pack of gum, my AirPod, a lipstick, hand sanitizer, and my power bank with a cable. So this is what it looks like right now. I saved this spot for a bottle of water as well. We can now put this whole thing inside the bag. And that's what it looks like inside with everything in. And let's say if you're out and about and you want to carry a bottle of water with you in your bag, I wouldn't carry something this big, maybe like smaller bottle, but this one will work too. It will fit in there like so. So everything fits comfortably. Let's say that if I do want to carry this planner with me, I would take out this big wallet and replace it with my planner, and then I would use a small wallet instead. Still fit everything else in there. I still have room for my water if I just kind of move things around. But if I really want to carry that planner and everything else in it, this is what it looks like inside. Fully packed. You can still put some stuff on top of it, but I wouldn't recommend because then it would be so heavy. Right now it's pretty heavy because I do have a water in there, and then I do have the big planner, which is heavy stuff. But without the water in the planner, everything else is very manageable as far as the weight. Next up, we're going to talk about the value for the money. This bag is very long lasting. It holds the value really well, and the price will always increase. It has very high resale value. This bag is so exclusive. It's not easy to get a Birkin or a Kelly. You have to go through a lot of hoops to be able to get a bag in store, or you would have to go for the reseller market route, which can cost a lot more than the retail price. With MS, you don't really know the price of the bag because it's not listed anywhere on the website. They don't mean half the bag. So half of the time you don't even know the price of a Birkin or a Kelly or even Constance or anything like that. With this particular bag, I got it in store last year. I believe it was $10,800 before tax. The price have gone up a little bit, but with MS, they don't go up like Chanel. They don't jump like crazy. They go up every year little by little. But for this bag in the reseller market, it can go for maybe $15,000 to $20,000 to $25,000. It depends on the combination. You know, there's a lot of hoops that you have to go through. You have to build that relationship with your SA. You have to pre-spend in store in order to be offered a Birkin or a Kelly. So because of how exclusive it is and how hard it is to get this bag, I feel that they will almost always appreciate in value. It's a great investment, I say. It's probably better than gold or stock. I mean, I bought gold like 8 years ago and it went up like $300 to $500. That's barely enough to keep up with inflation. That's just to show that this is a good investment because the value will always remain. It will always increase. And if you ever need to sell your bag, you know that you can always get your money back and some. You know, if you buy the right color and the right size. So the trend comes and go when it comes to like smaller bags and big bags. Right now, the small bags are very trend. Birkin 25 is really expensive. But if you buy it in store, the smaller the size, the cheaper it is. But because of the trend right now, everyone is into the small bag trend. The 25 is going for a crazy price in the resale market, more than the Birkin 30. So if you buy in the resale market, just keep that in mind that the price that you see is not what you pay in store, only because of the exclusiveness of the bag and how hard it is to get. Because of how demand a bag is, then the price in the resale market will fluctuate. I've always loved handbags since I was little. Even when I was in high school, I would buy handbags that cost $20 and $50, and I would treasure them because I just love handbags. If you ask me 5 or 6 years ago, owning a Birkin, still a little far-fetched for me. So the fact that I have one in my collection today is very fortunate, and I'm very grateful for it. It is my holy grail bag. It is my first ever Birkin. It is a dream come true for me. Now we're coming down to what is my verdict, whether this bag is worth it or not. This is based solely on my own opinion and experience. So please take it with a grain of salt. So with that disclaimer out of the way, I will give you my verdict on whether or not this bag is worth it. Absolutely, yes. It is worth it because I truly love the bag and I truly love the brand. But to me, the durability, the longevity, the quality, the craftsmanship, the value, it outweighs the price and the work that you have to put in to get this bag. At the end of the day, it is a very expensive handbag, but so is Chanel. Chanel bags are almost the same price. So the classic flap is almost at the same price as the Birkin or the Kelly. And sometimes it's not easy to get a Chanel handbag either. Sometimes you can't just go in the store and get it. You still have to jump through a lot of hoops nowadays. Everything is harder to get nowadays. But the quality of Hermès handbags is always more superior to Chanel handbags. Don't get me wrong, I love Chanel too. If I have to choose one out of two, I will always choose Hermès over Chanel. Yeah, that's the fact. I will continue to try to add more Hermès handbag into my collection, but at my own pace. I love working with my SA. We have really good relationship. I don't feel pressure to buy anything or to buy things that I don't love. When I go in the store, I already have an intention of buying something. So yeah, everything I buy is very intentional. And I don't pressure my SA to get me a Coda bag either. It's always going to be a journey that I will try to enjoy along the way. To me, I feel like it's the journey that matters too, because I do enjoy the experience every single time I go in the store. I have really good chat with my SA. We talk about all sort of things. So my whole experience shopping at Hermès is very fun, very relaxing, very calm, casual, and very natural. It may take me a year or two to get a Coda bag, but that's completely okay. That's absolutely fine. Like, I'm not in a rush. If I travel and I get it out of country, that's amazing. But if not, I would just enjoy my journey here. It's not like I can afford to get them all the time anyway. After all, they're not cheap. Yeah, so for now, I'm just going to enjoy the process and just take it at my own pace, and whatever bags come will come. And that is all for this video. I really hope that you enjoy. And if you do, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, let me know in the comment below, what are your thoughts on Hermès handbags? Do you think they're worth it? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Bye for now.